What's up, Raiders? Welcome to Raid Today for Thursday, September 28th, 2023. I'm Gestel from Gestel Gaming, and the Bambus Fourleaf Fusion has begun. The calendar's out. We're going to go through the entire thing, and I'm going to let you know how I'm going to approach this fusion to make sure it is the easiest way to get through it as possible. We'll discuss that plus more here on Raid Today. All right, so the calendar is out. This is always kind of the time where you get a little nervous, maybe a little excited, a little anxiety, because you know there's all this stuff that you got to complete, and you can't mess any of it up, essentially. Maybe a little bit, if you don't want to miss out on my boy Bambus here. Yeah, we kind of took a look at his kit already. A lot of negatives out there, definitely some positives. I don't think he's meta changing. I don't think he's account changing, but I certainly think he's a great champ. I'm going to be going for him on both my accounts. And basically, here's how I'm going to handle it. Now, the number one thing I absolutely dislike, I'll leave it at dislike, in the fusion events are the dungeon divers. Dungeon divers are extremely difficult. Extremely difficult. Mostly because dragon tournaments, other dungeon tournaments, typically the amount you got to go for is 2250. We'll jump in the game here in a little bit. We'll go through all the tournaments and events that are open at the moment. But the the dungeon tournaments, dragon, ice golem, spider, fire knight, typically 2250 to reach the rare or the fragment, whatever you're looking for. In these fusion events, it's typically 2250 points. It's the same thing this time. But dungeon divers are much higher. Mostly, they're sometimes as high as, 42, 4600 points. You almost have to double the output that you do for each of these dungeon tournaments to get your dungeon diver event completed. And I find that, I don't know, a little frustrating. Sometimes I've even missed it and had to, jump, do another champ chase or finish the full summon rush to be able to complete them. And I've even missed it on my free-to-play once, which didn't allow me to get through it. So, yeah, the dungeon divers are kind of the toughest. So here's how I'm going to approach it. I want to eliminate the dungeon divers, and surprisingly, they've actually given you a fairly easy path to do that. I was shocked to see that they spread the dungeon divers through each of the different rares that are available. So, as you can see, I've marked with green all the ones that I will be doing, and the red is what I'll be skipping, the dungeon divers. Now, this does mean you have to go for the summon rush and up to the epic, and I believe, I may be wrong, but I believe it has been as high as 5,400 points. That's a lot of points. That means you essentially have to have 11 sacreds to be able to get that epic. Now, I'm not saying that's how many points it's going to be. We'll find out tomorrow morning. It could be, it could be maybe 4,500, meaning you'll need like 9. It might even be like 4,000 points. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on any of these numbers. I believe the range is somewhere between that 4 epic champions during these fusion events. Just, loosely recalling different amounts, at least over the last year or two. So, you will have to spend a fair amount of sacreds or any combination of shards to get to that point total. So, that will make it a little more difficult, but then you don't have the stress of all the dungeon divers, 1, 2, and 3, and those are, look, all separate from each of these rares. But then you also have the chance of skipping that champ chase for the void rare, meaning you'd have to go for the champ training event, and that's the longer one, which means it will probably be fairly difficult. It looks like a 5-day, maybe almost a 6-day event. So this one could be double difficult. And that champion chase is during the 2x Ancients, which is obviously the best time to be pulling Ancients. So I've kind of put these in yellow as deciding at the time of of what I'll be doing, skipping one of these or the other. Now, the other thing, keep in mind, you still have to make sure you do 3 of the tournaments or events that are lined up for each of them. You can't just flat out skip all 4, because then you're not gonna, all 4 for Petrifia here, because then you're not going to get it. You're not going to be able to fuse all the champs. You need to have 3 of each of the rares, including the 4th Maliketh, to be able to have 4 epics, 2 and 2 of each, to get your Bambus. So keep that in mind. You have to make sure you get 3 of each if you're going for the epic. Now, if you're not going for the epic, you obviously just have to do everything here. So here's how I'm going to do it. I am skipping the Dungeon Divers. I don't want to do them. I don't want to worry about them. I don't want to spend the extra energy if I don't have to, in places that I don't necessarily want to be. Now, obviously, if they have other tournaments and events going on at the same time as this fusion, outside of any of these tournaments or events, that would help in doing these Dungeon Divers, maybe I will do them and skip something else. But frankly, Dragon Tournament is great. Spider Tournament is great. Artifact Enhancement is one of the easiest. I mean, you gotta have silver, but certainly one of the easiest. Champ Training Tournament, I don't like Champ Training Tournaments. It's fine on my free-to-play. I have plenty of champs I could upgrade there, but on my main account, I'm just making food, so it's a little annoying, but whatever, you gotta do them. Summon Rush, you're gonna be doing it anyway if you're going for the epic. So, whatever. 10x, we'll go through the 10x this weekend. It's okay, not great, but it's better than having nothing. Then obviously you got to make the decisions here. I have a lot of Ancients saved up on my free-to-play account, so that will probably be what I choose to do. More so because I want to pull during the 2x Ancients. And, maybe I can skip that champ training event. Or maybe I'll skip the first one on the free-to-play. We'll see. But here, Classic Arena Takedown, super easy. Ice Golem, super easy. Artifact Enhancement event, just silver. Obviously, again, I just stated, silver is not the easiest, but this event is super easy. You can finish it off if you have the silver in like 5 minutes. Then you have the Artifact Enhancement 1 here. Fire Knight Tournament and Classic Arena. Now, if I told you that's all you had to do, plus obviously a Summon Rush, to finish a fusion event, not a fragment event, I think most people would be like, yeah, that's fairly easy. Knocking out these Dungeon Diver events, I think really makes this fusion kind of a piece of cake, and I feel like my free-to-play account is going to have no problem doing this, and I only have 7 Sacreds at the moment. I have a fair amount of Ancients, and I got plenty of gems if I have to buy Ancients. So, I think this is going to be the easiest fusion they've had in a while, personally. Solely based on the fact that they have spread these Dungeon Divers events out throughout the different rares. So I'm actually positive about this. I think this is one of the better setups that they've had in a while. I'm going to give a thumbs up to Plarium on that one. Let's jump in and check out the different tournaments and events going on in the game. As the release, they didn't have any of these shown off yesterday. Just so we can take a look and see how it looks. So the Drag Tournament has already started. It is 2250. As you can see, some people have already knocked it out. Dragon is that easy to farm. Pretty much every level of the game, you should be farming Dragon anyway, so it's a great excuse to do it. So that started. Champ Training started here as well, 5,500 points. You also got a Primal up here at 8,500, and 10,000 will get you a Lego book. Not too bad. Not a bad tournament overall. This is a pretty good looking tournament for Champ Training. Now, this is the quicker of the two. You do have 3 days, 16 hours on this one, so keep that in mind. They seem to go fast when you're kind of focusing on other things. This Dungeon Diver event has nothing to do with the fusion. Just be aware of that. This does end in 14 hours, though, so I don't know, if you're close to getting that epic book or the Lego book up there, maybe go for it, but I'd probably say hang on to your resources. But the events that are starting both tomorrow will be the Summon Rush and the Dungeon Divers. So, not a whole lot going on today, just the 2 tournaments. If you're gonna go for all of them, you're not doing the Summon Rush for the epic. I would say maybe hold off on farming dragons right now. Wait for the dungeon diver to open tomorrow, then start farming your dragon, just to help out with that dungeon divers. Like I said, dungeon divers is always the most difficult of all these. So just be aware of that. But it's fusion time. It is fusion time. Just take a look at it. You do have the 2 weeks, 1 day, 4 hours to fuse them. This does disappear at the end of that clock, so if you're going to be waiting till the end to fuse them, CVC will be open at that time. Probably will be a non-personal reward week, but you can certainly jump on that and save him until then, just to get the extra 30,000 for your clan. It's always a good thing. But like as we were just to show you before, if you choose to summon one of the epics, this means you remove these 4 rares. Just knock them right out. You got one here. So then you just have to get 3 sets of the rares, basically how I showed you to do on the calendar. Or how I'll be doing it at least. So, the fusion's going. It's a lot of fun. Let's get it done. I love the fusions. Love the fusions. But let's check out a couple other tidbits that they dropped for us in the news section. Primal Boost 2 times this weekend, and a 10x is going on as well. Now, this Primal Boost 2x, it's a bit of a misnomer in my mind. This does not mean you're gonna 2x boost for mythics. It just means for legendary and epic champs. Not mythical champions. So keep that in mind. I would say hang on to them. Unless you have like no other shards to pull and you need to pull these to get the fusion rolling or get it done. I would say do not pull your primals. Hang on to them. I would imagine we're going to have a 2x at some point. It may not be for months. It may not be for like 6 months. Who knows? But just be wary of it. Now, the 10x champions we got going on for this weekend, we got Trunda, Hefrak, Thylesia on the epic side, Magnar, and Sinacia. Those you can all pull from Ancient, Primal, and Sacred Shards. And this is somewhat exciting. From Void Shards, the new guy, Vitreous, the Anointed, Acrizia, also insanely good. And then Skull Crown. From the epic side of the Voids. Those all are 10x going on this weekend. And then they give you all the information. Now, the other news going on in the portal today is a 40 shard pull for the man, the myth, the Man-Eater legend. Great champ. Not a legendary champ, a Void champ, but does have the Unkillable passive, which is insanely good for Clan Boss. Obviously, gives you that Clan Boss Unkillable team that, will guarantee you a 2, 3, 4 key in Ultra Nightmare, whatever it is. If you need a second one, great time to pull. But obviously, with the fusion, Summon Rush this weekend, and we just had 2x Voids this week, last weekend as well. Maybe not the best time to pull, but I wouldn't blame anybody for pulling for him if it's going to give you that kind of optimal and killable team for Clan Boss. It is pretty much the most important step in really getting to mid to end game where you have alternate Nightmare on farm. It's it is huge. So wouldn't blame you if you go for it, but if you're going for the fusion, having the shards, maybe hanging on the shards for Summon Rush or the champion training event might be the better move. So whatever's best for your account, keep it all in mind that the fusion's going on and everything surrounding that we had discussed earlier. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention in the portal, and we got this news yesterday. This is pretty big. The percentage chance increased per shard on the primals for mythical champs from 1% to 10% after 200 shards. So basically, that's enormous. That's an enormous change. This was 1%, meaning you had to pull basically 300 primal shards to get a mythical champ to guarantee it. Now, you just have to pull an extra 10 after the 200 Mercy to guarantee that mythical champ. That is enormous. That, I mean, that's cutting it from 90 shards. 90 shards. Now, granted, it's still 200 mythical, and they're very expensive. They're very limited, but it's new, and there's only 5 of them right now, right? So, do you really want to be pulling duplicates of these guys? I don't think so. So, I think it's good news. I think it's very good news, frankly. This is certainly a step in the right direction. Hopefully, you know, maybe they start coming out with 2x events or something else that'll really help you get these, but I think that stuff won't come until they release more mythical champs into the game. I think they kind of have to keep it real, you know, kind of tight. There's only 5 of them, right? There's only 5 in the game right now, so I think they're going to keep things a little tougher to get them. But big news, and I wanted to show that, you know, give that information off to you guys to let you know if it's not like you're checking that mercy counter or that mercy system all the time. It was just a note that they had sent over to us yesterday, so I thought I'd forward the information on, and you know, it's definitely a step in the right direction for Plarium. And, you know, keep it going, guys. Keep it going. Keep making good moves like that. We like to see it. The player base definitely likes to see it. All right, last but not least, Forge Pass is still going on. 2 weeks, 6 days remaining. Make sure you're getting your dailies done. Instinct gear, pretty solid. Not the best, but still pretty solid. Make sure you're doing it. At least make sure you're doing your daily challenges, so you will get those 70 frags at the end of the 4 weeks. But that's all I got for you for today. We'll be back tomorrow, 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Quick shout out. Just want to say, on the stream today at reset at the raid reset time, it's 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, whatever that is for you. On my stream, we will be doing 3 separate giveaways of 300 gems to the community, to whoever wins. We're going to be doing some marble races. You want to come by and have a chance at winning it? It's twitch.tv/GuestLoGaming. Come by, say hello, check it out, and get entered to do the marbles and have a chance at winning 300 gems. We're great to have you stop by. We'd love to see you. But that's it. 300 gems, pretty exciting, I guess. That's the reward I got from doing the Sun Wukong challenge. So always fun to be able to give some prizes away to the community, and we'll have some fun with it. So 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, the reset time, main reset time for raid. Come by. That's when we'll be doing it. But until tomorrow, have an awesome night. Take care.